Even as the cleanup continues, plenty of oil can still be found along the shorelines, beaches, and marshes of the Gulf. NewsHour correspondent Spencer Michaels reports from Buras, Louisiana, on one man's effort to help.
Agoglia is on a mission, and it's to clean up and protect parts of the damaged Gulf on his own.
This oil needs to be picked up, and this needs to get done, and it needs to be done immediately, because as you can see, if the tide is strong, it'll go into all these wetlands, it'll destroy the grasses.
Agoglia, who runs a non-profit called First Response Team, acknowledges there are plenty of others doing their part. Nearly every morning, just past sunup, hundreds of Gulf residents show up at marinas along the coast and board flotillas of small boats. 13,000 individuals are part of this civilian army, paid by BP to tend to booms that protect the shoreline from oil, among other tasks. The Coast Guard keeps an eye on the workers and the contractors.
And we're trying to protect one of the largest oyster beds in Louisiana. To keep that oil out of here, to protect these fishermen's livelihood.
Workers also patrol the 637 miles of beaches where oil has washed up, picking up tar balls and larger globs of oil.
There's oil out there we've got to capture.
BP has created television commercials aimed at convincing Americans that it is doing a thorough and expensive job of repairing the damage.
Every morning, over 50 spotter planes and helicopters take off and search for the oil. Almost 6,000 vessels. We can't keep all the oil from coming ashore, but I'm going to do everything I can to stop it.
But Agoglia, a 34-year-old New York native, believes BP and the companies it has hired need help, and he's the one to do it.
Just put this on your shoulder, and then bring the other one in.
First Response Team, which he founded and funded, is designed to help in disasters. He and his 7-person crew and their array of equipment arrived here by barge 41 days after the Deepwater Horizon explosion, before the oil hit the beaches and the official cleanup effort began. Government and BP officials know he's here. Sometimes they work with him and his equipment.
When this is secured and we feel like it's moving comfortably, we can deploy the hovercraft and go do that other task.
Make that happen.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
But often, they essentially leave him alone to fight the oil that threatens to destroy the barrier islands south of New Orleans.
There's oil underneath that sand.
The barrier islands were built decades ago to protect the marshlands and the fishing areas. These islands are home to birds and animals, and they are at risk from heavy storms, and now from oil.
A lot of these grasses are beginning to die very quickly, and you can see all the oil mixed in with the root systems. This one has died. There actually is a whole group of dolphins right over here, only 20 feet from where these grasses are full of oil, and that's heartbreaking to know how much wildlife is out here.
Agoglia is a former seminary student who studied for the priesthood but quit and got into the construction crane business where he made a lot of money. He's decided to use it to help out when needed. For the past 7 years, the team has responded to dozens of natural disasters, including the earthquake in Haiti.
The team is very efficient because we have a staffing that most of them have been to over 30 disasters. And when you have that kind of experience of dealing with tornadoes, floods, windstorms, earthquakes, you begin to really know how to deal with these situations.
As for the Gulf disaster,
we knew we could help, we knew we could make a difference, we knew something needed to be done immediately, and that's why we're here working every day. Just a little more. All right, hold it.
Agoglia, who says he's no longer wealthy, has personally paid for most of First Response's expenses, which amount to $900,000 a year. Much of the equipment is donated by Terex Equipment Company. An obvious question is why First Responder and Agoglia are needed out here. Why isn't FEMA or BP or the local parish or the local fire department protecting these barrier islands? Those groups are, of course, making an effort, But Agoglia says he can do it faster and more efficiently because he specializes in disasters.
A local fire department is not often going to have a hovercraft or a crane with a special attachment to disassemble a home in 10 minutes if it's in the middle of the road. So, and oftentimes I find that when these storms hit the communities, it oftentimes destroys their local resources, so they don't even have the ability to help themselves.
Coast Guard Officer Joe Allen sees the value in groups like First Response Team.
My personal feelings is I'm glad they're here. You know, all the help we can get, the better.
And while it's rewarding, it takes its toll on Agoglia and his pocketbook.
I live in hotels. I live in very cheap hotels most of the time, and that's my life. And trust me, it's not really how I want to live. But at this point, I don't have enough money for a home. I had to give that up to fund the work of the First Response Team.
Agoglia is used to dealing with life-threatening natural disasters. The Gulf oil crisis is the first of its kind he has attacked. His small team works for low wages and for the satisfaction of doing good. 22-year-old Tim Volkovich says working with Agoglia has changed his life.
Before I did this, I was a chef. I painted cars and I painted houses. And it was work. I made money doing it, but there was never any satisfaction. With this job, I get to go all over the country, meet new people, and I get to help people every day.
Volkovich and Agoglia and the others are here for the long haul, and they think their presence and their approach are making a difference.
I mean, it would be great if we have 100 people out here with garbage bags and, and rakes, but you can do the same thing with just 5 pieces of equipment and 5 men as you would do with a small army.
While the large oil slicks are largely gone, tar balls and oil continue to wash up, so there's plenty for the First Response Team to do here until they head out to their next disaster.